Welcome to the Vedic Astrology full moon forecast for January of 2022.
The moon is waxing, the energy is increasing. How are you feeling? The moon is waxing, and on January 17th at 3:48 p.m. Pacific time, the moon will reach its peak brightness and begin to wane again. Sensitive, maybe emotional, hopeful, expansive, contemplative. This full moon has a well of nourishing spiritual energy in it, and it's aligning with some pretty important retrogrades that are happening for the rest of this month. This full moon's in the nakshatra of Pushya nakshatra. Pushya is the star of nourishment, and it is symbolized by a lotus flower or a udder of a cow that gives milk. Kind of this idea of plentifulness and nourishment. Pushya is ruled by this deity named Brihaspati, the great guru of the gods, the advisor, the mentor. And it's connected to teaching, judges, people who uphold tradition in society. So there's a lot of spiritual energy. There's something really auspicious and nourishing about this full moon. I'm in India, actually. This is where I am right now. I'm in an ashram. I came to visit my spiritual teacher, so I think it's a pretty good full moon for me to be visiting her. This is the quarantine room. It's policy that anyone who comes in has to do a quarantine for a period of time. So I'm hanging out in my room. And soon I will get to see her, probably on the full moon. So this full moon has the Shakti, Pushya has the Shakti to create spiritual energy. And it seems like an excellent time to be doing inner work as well, like psychotherapy, working on all sorts of levels, inward, whatever you do, meditation. Because also right now we have Venus still retrograde in her retrograde cycle, which will be ending on December 29th. She is soon to be rising as a morning star. This is her kind of most auspicious and dramatic appearance in all her cycle. So it's a time when she's being reborn. She's coming up and she's actually brighter in appearance than she is in any other time. So when Venus rises as morning star, there's something about a rebirth, a connection with your own true values, perhaps, or reestablishing boundaries, or getting more in touch with what you really want in relationship. Venus is the goddess of relationship. She's also connected to finances and artistic expression as well. Now, Mercury also went retrograde, so we have two of these personal planets moving backwards. So it does seem like an important time right now to be reviewing, kind of pulling inward, looking at what's been happening, so that we can maybe reestablish our route. Reconsider where we're headed. Mercury retrograde, of course, has a bad reputation in causing so many technical problems, delays, and miscommunications. But it is an opportunity often through those challenges, through those difficulties, to improve situations, improve systems, and really make positive transformative changes for the future. You know, it's interesting, Mars just went over the Gandanta. He just changed signs from Scorpio to Sagittarius, considered to be the most treacherous place for Mars to be, actually. He crossed from the water, Scorpio, the deep water, into the fire of Sagittarius. So these degrees right between Scorpio and Sagittarius are often trigger points for Mars to cause some kind of natural disaster. And it was interesting yesterday, just as Mars entered into that area of the Gandanta, we had this volcano, underwater volcano, that happened in the Pacific. It's interesting, the fire and the water mixing there. The fire, the volcano of Mars, passing through this deep trench of water into Sagittarius. Now Mars is going to be headed towards Venus, and they're going to do something that's pretty unusual. They are going to be in what's called Graha Yuddha, a war. This is going to start next month. So just as Venus is coming out of her retrograde, Mars will join her, and there will be a lot of charismatic, intense tension coming up from mid-February until all the way till mid-March. It's a very long yuddha. Okay, so let's just take a look at what the tarot cards have to say about this upcoming full moon in Pushya Nakshatra. So the first card that came through is the Strength. There's Durga. This card reminds me so much of Venus rising as morning star. You know, it's said that her position as morning star leads the sun. So she's more independent, she's strong, she has a sense of self that's distinct from when she is as an evening star and following the sun. So yeah, this sort of awakening, this empowerment that's happening in the heart as Venus appears soon and as she turns direct at the end of the month. And the Five of Cups. Wow. It's a heartbreak or just disappointment. Sometimes a lot of this, Venus retrograde in particular, and Mercury retrograde has a lot to do with kind of slowing down, stopping, looking back, seeing where we might have made mistakes. You know, regret sometimes is a part of this, or old stuff coming up, old resentments. Just sort of seeing the path for what it is helps us get insight, perspective on what it is we need or what we want in life. And the 8 of coins, this is very hopeful, very nourishing, like this full moon. You know, it takes time also. Pushya has an element of patience to it. It's connected to this planet Saturn, actually. And yeah, taking the time to do things right, doing the work that needs to be done so that we can grow strong roots and eventually bear fruit. You are powerful. Rise up, awaken. This life has disappointments. Things are not always as we had expected, but we are whole always. Tap into the wisdom of time, strength of your true self that has always been there as a witness to every heartbreak. You are rising to be born again. Okay, well, thanks for coming to the Industry Astrology Full Moon Forecast. Be sure to get on my newsletter if you haven't already and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I will see you soon on the next new moon.